Alright, welcome to part 2 of the year in review for 2019. Part 1 already happened where I covered 52 to 27, and now it's the other 26 games to go and cover, so let's just jump right into it. Number 26 is Race the Sun from week 18. Now this was a cool game in terms of the simplicity of it. It's just simply having to go as far as you can before the sun goes and stops you because it's down and you're solar powered. It's a great idea for a game, very simple, tons of different ways you can go and do it with different challenges and modes, and it was unique and a lot of fun. Number 25 is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas from week 45. I am a huge fan of the GTA games, and so San Andreas was one that I had technically played growing up, but I had never played on the Xbox, so I was curious how the port of it would have been handled from the original Xbox that it was on, and I think it still holds up, still is the same exact game that I played growing up, and still has all this nostalgia and love for it that I had when I initially played the game about, 10 years ago. Number 24 is Portal from week 27. Now, I never played in Portal initially when it came out, but I heard plenty of great things about it with this universe that was being built and the characters that were involved, and for how short of a game it was, the span and the scope that it was able to go and encompass, and I think that the game really did do all of that when I played it. Number 23 is Ash's Cricket from week 32. Yeah, I never thought I would go and play a cricket game because I have no idea anything about cricket, but I actually learned a bit just by going and playing the game, which is something that I like having happen in games, of learning something new and experiencing something new, and I think Ash's Cricket did a fantastic job of getting me immersed in a world I didn't know anything about before. Number 22 is Celeste from week 4. So I had seen Celeste initially at like an AGDQ playthrough on Twitch, and it just caught my eye as one of the most interesting speedruns that I was able to go and watch. And so when I had a chance to go and play it and actually get into the story and this world that's being built and kind of this battle with your inner demons, it's a fantastic game that really everyone should go and look at. Number 21 is Ori and the Blind Forest from week 5. So I had seen about Ori and the Blind Forest previously for a number of people playing it and really enjoying the world that's being built, and that's really how a lot of the games that I find are, but the different ways that you kind of gain abilities and gain skills similar to like Metroid or Castlevania in that realm is what made the game a lot of fun for me. Number 20 is Just Cause 3 from week 19. I had not played the first two Just Cause games, but you always see things online of people attaching these like remote rockets and sending a cow into outer space, what it felt like. And so I have to naturally go and see what it's all about, and it is a fantastic game with crazy mechanics and physics and ragdoll stuff to it, which is everything that I really look for in those sorts of action games. Number 19 is Batman Arkham Knight from week 26. So it's the latest game in the Batman Arkham series. I didn't play the Origins, but I did play Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and Arkham Knight is a nice conclusion to that trilogy, and you get to really see the culmination of it, and it's one of my favorite superhero games to go and play. Number 18 is After Party from week 46. Yeah, I had no idea that I would go and have so much fun with a drinking game, because that's just something that seems super odd to me, is to have a video game based on drinking. But it's a game that is so impactful with the choices that you go and make that you absolutely have to go and play it multiple times just because of the outcomes that are in it, and you really care for the people, so choices are tough in it. Number 17 is Wander Song from week 52. So it may be the most recent game on the list that I've gone and played, but it also was one of the most surprising games of the year. I was not expecting the puzzles in it and the storytelling and the bard main character himself to get me so involved and want to go and see how the story goes and ends, because I was just so gripped into everything that was in the game. Number 16 is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee from week 33. So Let's Go Eevee is a remake of Pokemon Yellow in just that you have Eevee instead, and it kind of uses mechanics for catching like Pokemon Go, but I felt like it was a good game because of those things to go and get a new generation of fans into the series itself and into the mainstay games. So it was a good start for that. Number 15 was Realm Royale from week 35. So it is a Battle Royale game as seen by the name, but it was unique in terms of having a down action being this chicken that's running around, and kind of similar to Fortnite, but not like Fortnite because you had different classes and elements to it to really make it unique and separate it from other Battle Royale games. And I enjoyed every aspect of it. Number 14 is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, week 29. So as the latest game in the Tomb Raider series, it continues what the last two games had done in terms of mechanics and how you go and play them, and I absolutely love them, so I knew I would absolutely love this one. And the story for it kind of is just another traditional Lara Croft ridiculousness that goes and happens, which means it's a lot of fun. Number 13 is Everspace from week 31. So it's a fun little game about jumping around and finding out, spoiler, that you're a clone of this thing, and that's why you can keep going back and kind of replaying the levels to get further and further and try to get to the lab at the end. And I think for something that seems so simple to have such a unique story is great. Number 12 is My Friend Pedro from week 50. When I go and see clips online of the ability to go and kick a frying pan in the air and then go and shoot it and bullets going to ricochet enemies, I'm absolutely going to go and love the game that it's in. And that's what the case was with this. I loved the little actions that you can go and do in it to dodge and slow down time and make each playthrough really unique. Week 11 is Creature in the Well from week 43. I had no idea what to expect when I initially went into the game, but what I found was this game with this really cool post-apocalyptic story and these mechanics of hitting balls back and forth, sort of like ping pong, in a unique way that had me drawn in from start to finish. Number 10 is Pokemon Shield from week 47. So the game came out with a bunch of controversy and debate with everything with the graphics and the Pokemon missing for the majority, but I found it to be a lot of fun, and I found to have a lot of fun in terms of the gameplay and the gyms that were in it. And it's not the best Pokemon game that's out there, but it's absolutely not the worst, and I enjoyed the experience the entire time. Number 9 is Wizard of Legend from week 34. So I would describe this as like a dungeon crawling game based on the fact that you have different skills each time that you go into, and the dungeons themselves are kind of randomized in the order that they go through. And it makes each playing experience really unique, and it allows for a ton of replayability, which is always something that is super crucial to any video game. Number 8 is Enter the Gungeon from week 39. So like the previous game of Wizard of Legend, Enter the Gungeon is a dungeon crawler, but the thing that makes me enjoy it a bit more is because it involves shooting and guns and tons of different enemies that are bullets, and so they fire guns, and it's absurd and ridiculous and over the top and absolutely fun, and loved every single second of it. Number 7 is Gears 5 from week 37. I love the Gears franchise and I love everything about it, and so I had to jump into the game, and I loved the separation that the game has from other ones in the past of playing as Kat and going off on her adventure and not following one of the Phoenixes on theirs. Number 6 is Apex Legends from week 6. As the surprise Battle Royale game that came out from Respawn at the very beginning of this year as part of the Titanfall universe, I absolutely loved Apex Legends. I loved the gameplay, I loved the guns in it. I felt like a fantastic battle royale shooter from the moment that the game came out. Number 5 is Battle Chasers Night War from week 41. Never thought I would see a turn-based RPG game so high up on the list, but Battle Chasers' story and the characters in it and the overall combat was so inviting and so demanding of attention and wanting my attention, and I gave it to it without any sort of question, that I had to go and put it up this high. Number 4 is Titanfall 2 from week 13. So Titanfall 2 takes place obviously after the first one and builds upon the first one in the sense of adding a single player campaign, which is like the one thing that was lacking from the first game, but all of the movement and all of the characters in it and the overall combat and universe that it's in were always fantastic, and I always enjoyed the first one, and I'm so glad that I had a chance to go and play the second one. Number 3 is The Witcher 3 from week 10. From the moment that The Witcher 3 came out, it was proclaimed as one of the best games of all time, and just the scenery that was in it, the story in it, all the side quests, all 7,000 of them were fantastic, and building on these characters was fantastic. And it is a great game with a great storyline and something that I need to go back and play again because the Witcher show came out and I'm like, hey, I need to go and play that game again. That's how good of a game that this is. Number 2 is Borderlands 3 from week 38. As a lover of the Borderlands series and all of the games in it, when the third one came out, I was slightly skeptical because 2 was fantastic and pre-sequel was kind of a little off the mark, but 3 definitely goes and picks it up, and while not having the best villains, really expands the universe and shows everyone that there is more to go and come into the series, and they are still going and flying high, and it's really time to go and catch a ride. And the number 1 game of the year is The Outworlds from week 44. I had no idea what to expect when this game came out, and I like to think of it as a Fallout in space, if you will. Obsidian made this great game that goes and takes place on the Outer Worlds, this separate realm that goes and has all these planets and people and creatures that you fall in love with and you really care about, and storylines that you want to go and follow through on and see just what is going to go and happen next to every single character that's in it. It was everything that I wanted in a Fallout game, just taking place in space, which makes it even better than a Fallout game normally would be. So that is why it is the number 1 game for me this year. And that is it. That is 52-1, the year in review for 2019. Now, we're going to be doing something different in 2020, but I don't want to go and spoil anything on that, so stay tuned next week when we kick that series off. but it was a great year. I enjoyed all of the games that I went and played this year. It is tough at the end to go and rank them to figure out what goes where, so it is possible that people go and disagree with me on what was played here and where it should be in terms of the ranking, but I'm going to stand by my decision with the rank of all 52 games, and I'm really excited to see what 2020 has in store for its 52 weeks of gaming. So until then, guys, have fun, keep gaming.